Hello and welcome to Learn ADS in 5 minutes. This is tutorial 1 and in this tutorial we will talk about workspace, library and cell. In ADS everything is organized with the concept of workspace. Workspace is nothing but a folder which contains our working library, our schematics, layouts and data display. To create a new workspace, we can go to ADS main window and click on File, New, Workspace. Now, while you do that, notice all the other options are currently not enabled, and those will be enabled only after we create a workspace. Now, if you want to know more about workspace and other concepts, when we are into this wizard, look for the option here, what is a workspace? Now, this help provides a quick reference into what is a workspace. So as we said, a workspace is a directory that allows you to organize your design work. It can contain libraries, it could reference to external libraries, contain simulation data, data display, and so on. Inside every workspace, we will have a library. So what is a library? It is container that will hold cell. All cell must be in a library. Well, what is cell? A cell is a container that will hold your schematic views, layout views, or single symbol views for a single component. Now we will get to know some of these as we proceed. So let's proceed. However, I just wanted to point out there's a very useful info for any new designer starting to use ADS. Now here, let's give our workspace some name. So I will call it my first workspace. And you can define the directory path where you would like to create a workspace. Now, once we have a workspace, you can see it in ADS main window, you have a folder view where it is currently empty. And if we switch to library view, you can see the library which got created while we created workspace. And it has the same name as the workspace, making our job much easier to identify. Now, once we are in this workspace, we can go ahead and go back to the same menu, and you can notice rest of the options are indeed activated. Now, to start our design work, we need to create a cell. The cell could have a schematic view or it could have a layout view. So in this video, let's start with the schematic view and let's call this schematic as design 1. And when we click on create a schematic option, we do have a schematic window where we could insert our components and start doing our circuit design. Similarly, we can click on the layout view and it will create a layout cell. And in this case, let's call it layout 1. And when creating a layout, it's as important to select a particular units or the technology in which we would like to work. So in this case, we will just select millimeter. We will have another tutorial video which we will talk about layout in a greater detail. But for now, I just wanted to show you, you could go ahead and create a layout as well as a schematic. Now here we do have one cell which contains a schematic, another cell which is containing layout. Another thing you notice, I have enabled an option by which I could see my library name before my cell name. And these options could be selected by right clicking and whether you want to show the library name or you don't want to show the library name. So if you don't want to show the library name, and this is the default way ADS will work for you when you start using it, you would only see the cell name. And inside each cell, you can have one views or you can have multiple views. For example, in the same design, I can have a schematic as well as layout, or I can have multiple schematics and multiple layout. So all these things are possible and ADS is a very flexible environment allowing you to do whatever you wish. If you want more help or if you get lost somewhere in between, you can always go back to the ADS getting started window or you can open a particular example. There are tons of examples in ADS if you click. So there are getting started tutorials, there are various examples on doing different kind of simulation If you're talking about a specific design flow such as MMIC, RF board, RFIC, those examples can be found here, and you can just simply use a search bar. For example, if I'm looking at filter, if I type in filter, you have few examples which comes up, and all these examples will be in archived form. So if you click on this icon or this option here, unarchive wizard will come in, and eventually it will unarchive the example for you and open that example for you to see. Well, that's your 5 minutes. Thanks for watching. Look forward to another tutorial video on working with the schematics in ADS. Thanks a lot for your attention.